Sir, are you there?
Hi.
Stixx, how's it going, sir? We are here talking about your last show in Morecambe.
It's yeah, kind of reality hits when you say it out loud, doesn't it?
It does a bit. You've been a huge part of Morecambe's wrestling scene in general for a lot of years now.
Yeah.
Where was the thought process behind your retirement? Where did you think, you know what, I think this is going to be it? Where did that come from?
Well, you know, when you've been doing something for 16 years, you kind of think you got two options. You can carry on doing it until it hits 20 or 25 or even 30 for some people, or you can kind of look outside of the career and look at all the things that you might be missing out on, because you're, too wrapped up in one aspect of your life. And, I've been very honest on the shows, saying that, over the last few years, my life has changed, very much so for the better as well. So I think the beginning of this year especially, it really started to kind of seep in a little bit that I needed to focus a bit more on the other aspects of my life. Mainly my daughter, to be honest.
Yeah.
She's at the age now where she's very aware when Daddy's away. And being away for maybe one day is acceptable, but being away for an entire weekend sometimes, it's not fair on her. It's not fair on, my wife, who obviously has to do all of the work when it comes to the baby.
Mm-hmm.
But then because in the evenings, I've got the wrestling school and that's, me teaching, which is another thing I'm very passionate about. It means that I'm away every night.
Yeah.
So I don't get the chance to put, my little girl to bed every night, for example. I get one night a week, which is a Tuesday. And if I'm wrestling Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then Tuesday night is the only night I get to put my baby girl to bed. And it's little, some people might think, it's not a big deal, but anyone with kids will tell you, something like that is a huge deal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And now she can talk and she's very much more aware of what's going on around her.
Yeah.
During the day when she looks at me and says, "Are you putting me to bed tonight?" And I've constantly got to say no. It is kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But then you add on top of that, like I said, 16 years career. It hasn't exactly been a slow career, if that makes sense. Been in there with some of the best in the world, not just in the country. And it really does take its toll on your body. People can say what they like about wrestling, but it is very physical. And one of the most physical parts about it is the impact it has on your body over time.
Well, that's one thing. It's one thing I was going to ask about. It was, you've in the last show you did say and did have, your back injury and your back problems. Firstly, how is that going? Is it healing up at all? And secondly, how has that changed the way you wrestle and the way you think about what you do?
Well, I think first and foremost, when you go into, the ring and you have a certain reputation for, working, as hard as you can every time you go out there, especially in Morecambe, to keep that streak alive, the way it has. I put tremendous pressure on myself,
Yeah.
To keep it going because I know the fans enjoy it and I know I have to live up to certain expectations. So that means putting your body on the line a bit more, more so than maybe some other times that you go to the ring. You can only land on your back a certain amount of times, before your back just says, no, I don't want you to land on me anymore, and starts to give up on you a little bit. I'm not saying it's every day, but I think it really hit home like mid last year when I was scheduled to face Big Damo. And, the week leading up to the show, I went to pick my little daughter up, and my back just seized up to the point where I had to put her down, and I almost dropped her. And it got to the point where, I was looking around just thinking, I can't do this. It's not fair. I don't mind about me. I can live with back pain. But now I'm responsible for someone other than me. And it's not fair. For her to have to live with a dad that can't play catch. Or give her a piggyback ride. Because Daddy was, I guess, too selfish. Not to think about her over myself.
Oh, definitely. Sorry to interrupt you there, Stixx. Hi, it's Charles here. Just wanted to say, speaking on behalf of the fans, because that's one thing, living locally, living around Morecambe, you see the fans quite often, and a lot of them keep asking me. They're all asking about how you are. They're all asking about making sure that you're making the right decision, and everyone agrees with you that when it comes to family and health, that's above anything else. No one resents or no one even feels remotely bad about you choosing to retire. But the one question I get asked the most is whether you're going to vacate the title or whether you're going to wrestle again. And I personally can't answer that. I've said myself to the fans, because of the back injury and everything, and because of how important it is, I personally would rather you come out and say your goodbyes and leave on a high rather than risk. When we saw how hard the match with Nathan Cruz was on your back, I wouldn't want that to be the way that you go out. I'd rather you go out on a high myself. But is there any personal way that you would like to go out?
Well, you talk about going out on a high and going out on top. Vacating the belt to me, might not be that. Because going out on top is, showing that you can still be the best and showing that you can still be better than everyone else, and defending that belt.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that completely.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, this Saturday I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in the building. I'm going to be in Morecambe. If anyone feels like stepping up and challenging me on that last night, then it'll be the last time that they get a chance to not just win the belt but end the streak, and it might be my last time to prove that I can still hang with the best and beat the best. So I don't know if any of the wrestlers are listening to this and they're getting itchy fingers and they're going to come out and throw down a gauntlet, but I'll tell you what, I'll bring my wrestling gear just in case.
Well, I'll tell you who is listening with a great deal of interest, Stixx, my old friend. It's Greg the Truth Lambert here.
Greg.
How are you? How are you doing? I've been listening with a lot of interest.
Well, Greg, I was, up until about 10 seconds ago, having a really good night until I heard your voice.
Well, I'm sorry, this is my show, so I do have a lot to say about what goes on here. But do you know something? I am interested in the fact that you've said that you might even consider having one last match. I will make sure that information is relayed to the priority Chris Ridgway, who, but for your boot slipping off last December, would have broken the streak and become the Alpha Omega Wrestling champion. But that aside, I actually want to say something now, which I think may surprise you and may surprise a lot of people. Of all the rivalries that I've had throughout my wrestling career, there's been a lot of people who I've pitted myself against who I haven't liked personally. It's been both personal and business. But I want to actually tell you now, with all the listeners to this programming scheduled for One Fall listening in, that you're the only person, Stixx, where I can actually say, hand on heart, that my rivalry with you was purely business. I wanted to end that streak. I admit I got obsessed. I would throw everybody at you to try and do it, but it wasn't personal. You have been a great servant to Morecambe Wrestling, and I don't want to be too magnanimous about it, but what I will say is that I actually will be sorry to see you go.
You know what, Greg? You've said so much over the last, 5 years since we've been rivals. Even, being on the end of this phone, hearing you say that, I don't know if I can take your word for it. But, I've got, less than a couple of days, left being an active wrestler in Morecambe. So, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. I maybe don't feel the same way, because as far as my streak and especially the title is concerned, business and personal, there's a very blurred line in that. If you're going to come after what's mine, then it is going to make it personal. If you're going to bring up things like my family to get a mental edge, then it is going to make things personal. But like you said, I guess you just wanted to do what no one had done before. And what I have to say to that is, greed does many things to different people. And at the end of the day, I'm glad that I'm stepping away from this, more or less on my own terms. And it wasn't anything to do with your business decisions.
Well, I'm just being honest. That's what they call me, the truth. And I tried everything to try and beat you. And it doesn't happen very often in my life or my career, but I couldn't get the job done. And for that in itself, that says a lot about you. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Stixx.
I appreciate that.
Stixx, thank you so much. I want to thank you for two things, really. Firstly, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. But secondly, I want to thank you what you've done for Morecambe Wrestling, because you have been a big deal. Fans say so. People in the know say so. So I just want to thank you from this program scheduled for one fall, and thank you from Morecambe for everything you've done.
You know what? I'd like to throw the thank you back as well. At the end of the day, it's you guys that have given me the platform, to come up there and work hard and perform and, wear my heart on my sleeve in front of the Morecambe fans. And as far as the Morecambe fans go, they are, I've always said it, the best fans in this country. They've stayed behind me 100% all the way. And without that kind of support, I don't know if I could have done all the things that I've done over the years. So believe me when I say the thank you isn't just one-sided. Anyone who's listening to this, whoever, cheered me and stayed behind me, at any point in my career, a big thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you very much, Stixx, for coming in. It's been wonderful speaking to you, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, you will. I look forward to it.
You take care, man. All the best.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye.